Hello everyone, this is Leo from the Monkeys Making Misplaced channel. Today we're doing a deck profile over the new Ava. Can you have her? New Ava. I'm trying a slightly different camera angle here to see what it looks like. I kind of like it so far. You can see the cards a little bit better. Maybe when they're laid out it's a little harder, and maybe the reflection on the camera is a little bit much, but it's pretty legible, I guess you could say. Anyways, we're going to start with the deck profile. Obviously we run the Ava ride line because it gets you an order. Every time you ride up, it gets you a research order. Ava is one of my favorite decks to play, honestly. I played it before the grade 1 promo, if you can believe that, when it was very bad. I do have some experience with this. I've taken it up for BCSs for teams. I use it in locals a lot, so I do have some practice with this deck. We start off with 2 copies of the new Poison in Paradise Ava. This new Ava lets you get a research card from your deck and add it to your hand. Which is pretty good, so in case you miss it or whatever, she'll just get it for you. And then when she attacks, you can bind the original Ava to search your deck, hand, or drop for up to 1 card with the opposite, call it to rear, and then that unit and this unit get +5. If you search your deck, you shuffle, and then at the end of the turn, you ride into the old Ava. Not a full set like in some of the other glitter decks you'll see where it just gets automatically replaced. Personally, I think that the old Ava is pretty good, but I do want to play this new one as well because it gives you the recursion. She's more of a late game choice. You're not going to want to go into this right away. If you have to, you know, it's not awful, but you kind of want to save these for the end, because this deck is about grinding. You're gonna try to out-resource your opponent. Following that idea, we have 3 copies of the original Fountain of Knowledge Ava. If you don't know what this card does at this point, it's very good. It can counterblast 1 to look at the top card at the top of your deck equal to the number of researches, and then you get a card, and then she gains 5. And then when she attacks, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1 to search your deck or hand for up to 1 card with obfuscate and call it to rear. Then if you search your deck, you shuffle your deck. She gives you the ability to get 4 attacks, essentially. That's the strength of this deck. And now we're moving on to Obfuscate himself, running 4 copies of the grade 3. This card, when it attacks, if your order zone has a set order, gains +5 until the battle, and if your order zone has 3 or more, oops, sorry, out of frame there, I forget, I need to keep an eye on the camera. It gets +10k, okay, so it's a 23k attacker. And then if it's placed by a card's ability, if your order zone has 3 or more researches, it gains a crit. And then on rear guard and in guardian, it gains intercept and 10k shield. So this grade 3 is actually 10k shield, and it can intercept from the rear guard circle. Incredible card. This is how you'll be putting pressure with this deck. That crit that Obfuscate gains. Following that, we have the latest in the research, and that is the world is a blue research lab. I love the names of these cards, dude. It's incredible. This is only playable if you have a Vanguard with Ava in its card name. When it's put into your zone, you look at top 5, choose up to 1 card, and call it. You're looking for some of these, right? Because if you call it off of the grade 3, it gains a critical, right? And then you can Soul Blast 1 and rest 3 other researches to give a glitter unit +5. So you can give something like Obfuscate an extra 5, so it'll be a 28k, which is one of the best numbers you want to be able to hit. 4 copies of this because it can call your Obfuscate, obviously. Can't play it until grade 3, but that's what we have some of the other cards for. Next, we have 3 copies of the grade 2 Obfuscate. This guy's not as good as the grade 3 counterpart, but you know, if you want to have targets for some of the abilities, you kind of want to run more than just the grade 3s. He's able to, when placed on rear by a card's ability, and your order zone has 3 or more research, when it would attack, it battles all of your opponent's front row. And then if your order zone has 3 or more set orders, it gets +5 power, +5 shield. Right, so it's a 15k attacker with 10k shield. Pretty good card. You're not really going into this guy. He's more of just like an option if you're playing against a rearguard heavy deck, then you go into him, right? Next, we have 1 copy of Experiment Successful. I know not a lot of people play the grade 2 anymore, but I do like the ability to filter and have removal, almost permanent removal, something that's not really very prevalent, right? There is binding and there's retiring, but Ava doesn't really have the choice of that. So I'm just running the 1 of these just in case I see it. It also just gives me an extra research that I can hit. Moving on to grade 1s, we have 4 PGs. I still don't have the Blitz. I was hoping to pick up the Orphis child deck to get the Blitz order. I was unable to get it, so that's supremely unfortunate. And then moving on to what I would guess is my spin on this deck. I know I've seen several people play it, but I know moving on from set 10, or yeah, I believe set 10 when the Cyclers came out, this card was almost ignored. But I play 4 copies of Dragon Tree Wretch Lloyd Axerith. The first ability, unimportant. It just makes a Dragon Tree marker, but we can't use those in this deck. The second ability is what we're looking for. It says when a set order you played from hand is put into your order zone, counterblast 1, look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and call it to rear in the same column as this unit. The great thing about this card, and why I played over anything else, is because it not only triggers the grade 2 Obscudate that we saw earlier, but it triggers the grade 3 as well. So you can get a crit without having to use the Avo ability, which is incredible. I think I nudged the camera ever so slightly. God damn it. We're just gonna keep it in. We're not professionals yet. But this card, honestly, it's my favorite. It's my favorite choice in the stack. Being able to start an attack phase with, you know, a Obscudate that can attack the front row, and then one that has a crit, and then still being able to call out another one with Ava's ability and get an insane amount of pressure is what this card can provide. This plus the grade 3 research order is 2 units for a CB essentially, and that gives you more chances to deck thin, because obviously you can call other stuff. You don't have, like, you could call another copy of him and just have an attacker that you can just throw away. Continuing on, we have 3 Bulbamine. We do need countercharging in this deck because a lot of stuff uses CB or Soul, and Bulbamine provides both of those things. So 3 copies. Why not the 4? We have another card, which is, I guess we'll just talk about it right now, which is Result of the Experiment Henceforth. This order makes it so that your Obscudates can't be targeted for retirement effects. And then if your order zone has 4 more research cards, you can put it into Soul, countercharge 1, and then get an Obscudate from dropping out of the hand. So technically you have 5 copies of countercharging sources here. It's just the ability to have 2 different ones essentially. None of them are restricted to not being able to use the other, so that's why we just play 5 copies of these guys. As well as this being able to play at grade 1, so you have the 3 research orders as soon as you hit grade 3, is incredible. Then we have triggers. Nothing, I think, too crazy here. We play 2 vanilla heal, one of the, if your opponent's grade is higher, heal, and then 1 if they gain a crit. This is because Messiah and Chrono Jet is so prevalent. This is because a lot of decks gain natural crits or units gain crits, so I just think that this is probably a good choice currently, given that things like Gandiva are part of the game. Things like Bob Sagra, things like Drajewald, things like that. You can always switch these out if you want to just play 4 vanilla. You can. This is just what I'm used to for my current metagame down here. And then next we have probably a very obvious thing in 8 crit. I just love putting pressure. If you can kill them faster, you can just win faster. You know, 8 crit does that. And then we play 3 draws, which I know some people will play fronts in this spot, but I just like draws because they're easy pitch fodder, and sometimes it's nice to get an extra card. Almost everything in this deck is another 10k shield, right? Very little things are not going to be some extra shield in your hand, and that's kind of all this is. And then obviously we play the, god damn it, I nudged the camera again, didn't I? Sorry, there we go, back to where you belong. Play the Branto T because it's so strong. It doubles your power, doubles your crit. What else could you ask for? So this deck is going to be playing against Silhouette, and I do think that maybe that is a little bit of an unfair matchup, but nonetheless I will still be playing against Cat. He wants to win the game on camera, so you know, hopefully he does it. I'll do the short tomorrow, so you know, be ready to see that. And this has been Leo. Have a nice day.